My name is Nancy Gail Fox, aka Fox-Taylor. I am a psychic medium, reader, and writer, and a targeted individual, and I have done my psychic medium readings on facts of what that have been done for the past 20 years uh, by gang stalkers to get insight to crack the mystery of what gang stalkers do to targeted individuals to stop them from doing this to people. So I'm going to give my facts of what happened and then the psychic reading information on the facts of what was going on behind the scenes that gang stalkers did. And so 20 years ago, uh, actually it's 21 years ago, I'd say, December 2004, I filed for a divorce with the legal separation that was done in the court in January 2000. When I filed for divorce in December 04, my ex-husband, my daughter's father, had moved out 5 years earlier. So I had been a single mom for 5 years, paying the bills alone as a real estate agent and providing well for my two daughters without child support or alimony for 5 years. And I filed for the final divorce 5 years later, December 04, with my legal separation papers from January 05. Now, my psychic medium reading information says when I filed for a divorce that a gang stalker who searches court records to target mothers to see what mothers filed for divorce and to see what parents are unwed. My readings say a woman does this every week and finds mothers to target who are unwed or who filed for a divorce. So, reading says she saw my name, Nancy G. Fox-Taylor, filed for divorce, Ventura County, December 04. Now, my reading says that she did a secret report to an authority station at this time in December 04 and wrote a paragraph and lied. No way this single mom who just filed for divorce could afford the house they live in. On her income, she barely sold a couple homes. So I want to help have a move to a small, cheap rental in Oak Park down the road. And she said she'd known me since I was 14 years old from school and so on. And anyway, my reading says that she also lied. There was domestic abuse, so she wanted to take us to a shelter or something like this. And some big liar framing secret report to authority stations. And reading says she does this to 10 mothers a week who filed for divorce that she finds by searching court records, and to unwed mothers. So that's my psychic reading information on what was done when I filed for a divorce in December 04. And I was a real estate agent who usually had 3 or 4 real estate listings. I usually had a couple of escrows going and many buyers. And I made a very good living and provided very well for my daughters as a realtor alone for 5 years before I filed for divorce December 04. So I'd been paying the mortgage, all the bills by myself for 5 years without child support or alimony, and could easily afford the house we lived in as I paid for everything for 5 years. And there was no domestic abuse ever in that house. Nothing had happened in that area for 10 years, as my ex-husband hit me in 1995, 10 years earlier. Then he went to anger management, and I went to Al-Anon, and he never hit me again. And that that was in the San Fernando Valley. Nothing ever went on in the two-story tract home. There was no domestic abuse whatsoever. My reading says she lied there was when there wasn't. She lied I could no way afford the home and when I paid the bills alone. And she lied I barely sold a couple homes when I sold probably 5 homes a year. I sold 5 homes my very first year as a real estate agent. And I got my real estate license in 1999, Nancy G. Fox-Taylor. So my reading says a gang stalker woman lied in a report, wrote 1 paragraph, and started to set me up. And there I was, planning to sell the house with $400,000 equity, planning to move up to a bigger house. So that's a tip on that. December 04, what a gang stalker woman did. And then in around this time, I bumped into a psychic angel board reader, channeler, many times. And I bumped into her at Toys R Us, Jan's Mall, Moore Park Road, Thousand Oaks, California Pizza Kitchen, Westlake Promenade. Then, and each time I saw her, she said I had to come and do an angel board reading with her. And she said I had to do an angel board reading with her because a woman kept interrupting her reading and spelling out, "I died, I have to speak to Nancy Fox," a million times over. So every time I bumped into her, she said I had to come and do a reading. Then I saw her all the way in Westwood, 45 minutes away from the city of Westlake Village where we both lived. The elevator opened in Westwood, and there she stood. And I said, okay, I'll come and do a reading. I got the message loud and clear from God Almighty. Me being a long-time sober AA lady, I'm one who learned to depend on God in 1985, align my will with God's will, to see God working in my life. And there she was when the elevator opened in Westwood, 45 minutes away from where we lived in the suburbs. And I said, okay, I'll come and do a reading. And I did. In February 05, it could have been January 05, I went to her house and did a reading. And she was somebody I had seen every morning when I drove my daughters to elementary school. Every day, there she was, turning the corner when I drove by. No coincidence, is it? No. And I knew her several ways through several acquaintances, several friends. We had mutual friends. Saw her every morning because God plants people around people to work in their life for them. And she's one of the saints. And pretty amazing. A woman who lived by the elementary school I saw every morning driving my kids to school turned out to be an angel board reader who brought me the message on an angel board that I was put on earth to save the human race. So I did an angel board reading at her house, and that's what was spelled out. Nancy Fox, you're put on earth to do goodwill and to save the human race. And she said, well, you better get busy. You better get to work and buy an angel board. Literally, that is what she said. And so I did. And so now, years later, my psychic medium readings say God and Jesus had the woman who died, who was my neighbor growing up, my second mom, I called her. They had her spell that out many times on this woman's angel board, my friend, um, to contact me to save us because somebody filed the fraud report December '04 when I filed for a divorce. And that is why they swooped down and brought the message. And also, the woman who passed away, my second mother, who I grew up next door to on Ranchito Avenue, Sherman Oaks, she contacted me when I was half asleep. As I'm a medium my whole life, I always feel people, spirits, when they pass away to heaven. I feel them around me, and I felt a magical energy around me that wasn't like a human sensation, as it was her, uh, like I was touched by an angel, you could say, and she said she would protect my girls and I from heaven. And when I woke up, I said, I wonder what we need protecting from. And this was, I don't remember exactly when, in '04 or '05, but I woke up wondering this. What do we need protecting from? And said, I guess she's our guardian angel. Then I bumped into the angel board reader 3 times, and I told her, yes, she contacted me also. And so that's the miracle that God and Jesus brought. That's why I chose this photo for the video of Jesus standing in a open field with a split rail, sort of a split rail fence with the big trees. It reminds me where we lived in the Canal Valley, and suddenly Jesus appeared in Canal Valley to save our lives, and God, and that's how it is, and that's how I see it, and I know that's how it is because I experienced it, and being saved by God and Jesus. And so, well, that's part of the insight of what went on with facts, and what was done behind the scene. Well, readings say, due to the reading, angel board jobs were sent for me, called the Nancy Gale Fox Son of God Save Life on Earth mission from Los Angeles County by Spirit Board, Game Board, in-depth crime tip words. My reading says a job started to be sent because word got out I did an angel board channeling reading, as I did this as a child also when I was about 10 years old. And when she told me she wanted to do an angel board channeling reading, I said, oh yeah, I know. I didn't know how to do that. I did that when I was a kid. So, my reading says a job was sent called the Nancy Gale Fox Son of God Save Life on Earth mission from Los Angeles County by her angel board word spellings, something like that. And my reading says the woman who filed the fake framing report December '04 when I filed for a divorce heard of the angel board job coming for me by being a gang stalker on spy cam hacking, bugging equipment, and security cameras, and wanted to steal my big Son of God job, and that her and others knew a lot of money was being sent with it that said for Nancy Gale Fox, Downey checking deposit only. And reading says she got wind of this big Son of God job coming and money and wanted to steal it, as that's what gang stalkers do to targeted individuals. They target people with a gift, or entrepreneurs who make good money, who work hard, or productive, ambitious like me, And they target hard workers to rob them blind. And they target when a lot of money's sent and a big job to steal their job and money. And the job was sent to save us from her because she started framing me to an authority station December '04. So the the message was brought on the angel board by my passed on second mom, swooping down as an angel. The reading says a job was sent, and that was for me to do goodwill, save life on earth. It was for me to save my daughters and I from the person who did a fraud report, started targeting us to run us to a small, cheap apartment in Oak Park. So it was to save our lives. And that's what my readings have explained for 20 years. Okay, the job came to save us and to save everybody. And she stole it. And here it was sent to protect us, to save us from her. So readings say that she and many others knew this big job was coming, and they saw it in post offices maybe. Reading says they have spy cameras on post office ceilings, floors, parking lots, mailman trucks, mailboxes, curbs, porches, and you name it. And they see big jobs in their spy cam, bank robber equipment, and steal them. And they know money's coming from their phone bugging, hacking the whole world. Then they rob the person's money they're targeting, and lie it goes with a big job they got by stealing the person's job. And Reedy says that's what was done 20 years ago, or almost 21 years ago, in around February '05. Reedy says for 20 years this woman lies she got a big, important Son of God job. And it's my job that's stolen to save everybody from her. That she's the gang stalker harming many targeted individuals, finding 10 moms a week to target by searching divorce records to see which moms filed and to see who had a baby who's not married. And they target unwed mothers and divorced moms. My readings say the same thing every day for too long. And I experienced being targeted. And it's been, well, I've experienced it for over 2 decades. And I do readings on the facts to see what did gang stalkers do when certain things happened. So in February '05, my second loan, or rather I did a refinance on the house, and the refinance loan funded February '05 that I got to take $20,000 out to do carpet paint tile to sell the house. As I was sitting there shopping for a larger house, like 2,500 to 3,000 square feet, now around 900,000, and Reedy says she's sitting there trying to run us to a little cheap apartment in Oak Park down the street, different school district, different county. When we were sitting there in our 1,800 square foot tract home, 2-story, 2.5 bath, 3-car garage, large lot property, she's sitting there trying to run us to a little cheap small apartment. And Reedy says they rob the people's equity and lie they have to get a hold of their finances. When of course they don't. That's just a lie they tell to rob all their money. So I'm sitting there with 400,000 equity, shopping for a larger house for more money to do a move up. And well, that's what my readings say. And she's sitting there trying to run us to a little cheap apartment when I was looking for a larger house for more money with 400,000 equity in the 2-story. So in February '05, I had carpet paint tile done to the 2-story to get it ready to list and sell to buy a larger house for more money. And at this time, I thought, oh, I should have a AA party because my AA birthday is in February. is I got sober February 9th, 1985 in Alcoholics Anonymous. So I said I should have an AA party with the new carpet paint tile while the house looks so good before I sell it and we buy another house. And so that's what I decided to do. I had lost weight on a low-carb diet. I started in December '04. I bought a new outfit at Nordstrom's to wear to the party. And that was a light blue Free People sweater, designer jeans. It were 200. About the same color of jean as the same tone as the sweater. And I just wanted to wear a pretty outfit and look good at my longtime sober AA party at the house with the new carpet paint tile. And so I had the AA party February 27th, 2005 from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And I know these things because I keep a lot of papers, and I found the flyer for the party not long ago. I also found a bank statement and saw December '04 at $30,000 in my savings for bills. So I had plenty of money in the bank for bills when I had the carpet paint tile done with the refi equity money that I did, so I'd keep my savings money for bills as a responsible, good parent and a good homeowner, as that's how I manage my money. I would keep money in my savings accounts and as reserves for bills, transfer it to my checking, pay bills each month. And that's how I managed as a single mom realtor. That's how I managed when I was a costume designer for years in the movie business too. I am one who saves money for bills, and I don't spend it. I keep it there, and I figure out what extra money I have to spend. And I don't charge on credit cards. And I was very good with my finances because I always save money, cash in the savings for bills, transfer to pay the bills. So I didn't keep all my money in the checking and just blow money. I did not at all. And so I was very responsible with money and provided very well, and that is a fact. As I worked in the movie business 17 years, and I learned to save my money I made working on a movie as a costume designer, to save it in my savings account in the bank, and I would live on that till my next movie started. So I wouldn't spend money I had till I had more money coming in. So, and that's how I worked my finances as a realtor single mom. I kept money in the savings for bills. I would not spend extra money on things till I had more escrows closing. I was going to be putting more money in my savings. So I'm just pointing this out as my readings say that in February '05, that some party guests, including the woman who framed me in a report reading say, who said she knew me since I was 14. My reading says her and some other party guests slandered me, and that some called the CPS secret caseworker and lied and started framing me to their CPS secret court. An overnice mother, do-gooder, moral value, AA Al-Anon spiritual, calm patient, overnice mom. My reading says they lied to the CPS secret caseworker, party guests. Reading says her report said she got reports from party guests, and they lied. No way Nancy Fox could afford the house, and she spent way too much for a single mom on carpet paint tile and an outfit to look good. And she's spending far too much. She won't be able to provide for her children because she's spending all this money, single mom, and who's newly divorced and too thin. And she has such problems spending all this money on carpet paint and tile and on an AA party, and probably they didn't say it was an AA party, celebrating 2 decades of sobriety. And my reading says 3 party guests uh, lied about me to a CPS caseworker. When I'm sitting there with 400,000 equity in the house, happiest mom on earth, shopping for a bigger house for more money for my family. When I probably had 4 real estate listings. I sold 7 homes in '05. When I'm sitting there making a great living, paying for horses and ballet for my daughters, paying $7,000 a month in bills with my income. When I hadn't been with my ex-husband 5 years, because he moved out January 2000. We were legally separated then. When I paid the bills alone for 5 years before then, my reading says 3 nosy busybody party guests lied about me to a CPS secret caseworker. That's hard to fathom. Hard to fathom. And my reading says that's what they did. And reading says they and many others plotted to frame me an overnice mother. And they had an ulterior motive. They wanted to steal my big son of God job and my money being sent Nancy Gail Fox checking Downey savings deposit only that said 20% your 2 daughters' money. You need your money to protect your family because you're being sent angel board jobs to send the human race. And they knew my big psychic jobs were coming and a whole lot of money. Reading says that's how they describe it. And my reading says they text a lot of people and said, my reading says they text a lot of people, called them, and said those words. If you're in on it, you get a whole lot of money later on. Being in on it, vote us in to do the Son of God job instead and set up Nancy Fox, the nice mom, and things like this. So reading says that's what gang stalkers do. They text, they call, they lie. They get everybody in their 2 or more lies, son of Satan conspiracy, to rob their jobs and money, to do ID theft, to run nice families out of house and home, to ruin their lives, then to set up the nice mom, then to rob every penny from then on. So that's what my readings say. The 3 busybody, phony party guests from out of the area conspired to frame me to steal my big psychic son of God jobs and money. They had an ulterior motive, ill intention, and lied about me to a CPS secret court caseworker. And I'd had such problems when everything was going wonderful. And then that's what a normal person would have said. They would have said, wow, Nancy Fox is doing great. She's selling so many homes as a real estate agent, provides so well for her daughters, alone as a single mom, did new carpet paint tile to their family home, and lost weight and bought a beautiful outfit and celebrated 2 decades of sobriety. Nancy Fox is doing wonderful. She works so hard to provide so well. She's such a nice mother. That's what a normal person would have said about me. Marie said they said the opposite. They lied. Everything I did was good was bad. Everything I did right was wrong. And gave a whole fake story and lied. They might have even said my name was Nancy Taylor. And when I never went by Taylor alone. I went by Nancy Fox Taylor. And my reading said they just lied about everything and lied. A newly divorced, too thin, young mom spent too much on the family home she won't be able to provide. When I sat there with 25,000-30,000 in savings for bills, sold 7 homes, had always had listings. I sold 10 homes in our 2-story tract home neighborhood. And I was a very busy real estate lady in a very busy single mother, and happily so. The busier I was, the better I felt. And anyway, I got up at 4 a.m. to sell real estate on the multiple listing service, searching away, emailing buyers and sellers properties, and I worked 4 to 7 a.m. every morning. And that's how I made money as a realtor and provided a loan as a single mother. And so other people, they wouldn't know that. So they just made up stories, imagined things, and framed me and plotted to take custody when my daughters were sitting there so happily. And at that time, they were 9 and 13 years old. And they were so excited about having the AA party at our house. And there we were, the happy family in our happy 2-story suburb home we'd lived in 8 years. Everything wonderful. New carpet, paint, tile. I had waited to do smooth ceilings in the house 8 years. I'd waited to tile the kitchen 8 years. And we needed the new carpet. And so, and they lied I spent too much. And, well, no, I didn't. And no, it was all planned to sell the house. And for us. And because I, at the time, said, I don't know how long it'll take. We might be here a year or two before the house sells. Who knows? I want to make it do the type of tile and paint I like in case we might be here 2 years. So I'll just do what I like, and neutral, of course, to sell it. And anyway, and that's what I literally said. We might be here a year or two. I don't know when I'll sell it, when I'll find another house. And so I made it nice for us, and my kids were so happy. New carpet, paint, tile, AA party with Maria's kitchen, and it was wonderful. Everything on the upswing, everything great, celebrating my longtime sobriety. And Rita says they backstabbed me and made up liar stories and planned to take custody of my 2 happy, loved daughters when everything was fine in our lives. And always was. I'm also an Al-Anon lady. I work an Al-Anon program. And I learned you just focus on your kids and they come first, and you have a great day even if somebody else is a jerk. My whole life was being in the moment with my daughters, doing everything for them, putting their needs first, with my world revolving around them. And I was a better than average mother, calmer and nicer than most, more patient than most. And that's a fact, is I was not a naggy type of mother. And I actually don't like naggy mothers. When I hear them, I can't stand nags. So, anyway, I was very calm, patient, nice, loving. Our lives were very wonderful and prosperous, and would have continued on if gang stalkers had not ruined them. And readings say they did it to steal my psychic job sent to my name and address for my psychic gift, and my personally owned money sent at the same time that was to be deposited in my checking account. And they stole a job that was for the whole world to save the human race. My readings say. My reading says they lie. She's not the type to do a job like that because of her outfit she wore to a party. When I wore a Free People spiritual sweater that looked pretty, it was just a pretty sweater that I thought looked good. And my reading says they did fraud reports to the banks and lied. Oh, she's not the type for a Son of God job. And she had a party and wore a short sweater and things like this. And they lied they were the type because they dressed conservative. What a bunch of conservative stick in the mud lower self-centered backstabbers would never be the type to work on any Son of God save the human race job if they're sinning and backstabbing and talking bad about other people and stealing their jobs and money. And Reedy says that's what they did. And they lied. They were more the type to do the Son of God job because they dressed conservative. When I actually dressed conservative as a realtor, I always wore suits and pearls, Ralph Lauren linen jackets and pearls, and sweater sets, and anyway, I don't wear bright colors. I don't wear prints. I was always covered head to toe, pants, long sleeve jacket, and pearls, and that's how I looked as a real estate agent. I was covered head to toe at my AA party. Long sleeve light blue sweater, Free People brand, with designer jeans, covered head to toe. Bell bottom jeans. So, anyway, well, so gang stalkers target people when they have big jobs and money sent. And to rob them blind, and to rob their kids. And they frame them to be not needed case files, to lie, we got control of the mother and children's money by the case file. And that's why they do it. And they frame them to their CPS secret court, then to be a not needed case file by lying, to then lie with papers at banks and post offices. We got control of the mother and children's money by the case file. See the papers? Then they rob the children's money from then on, even when they're adults. My readings say. My daughters are 30 and 34 now, and they're mothers. My reading says they still rob a money sent. This is for Nancy Gail Fox, Son of God family. He says they've robbed it over 20 years by this gang stalker group. And my Fox Taylor family victims' money sent for the stalked family for 16 years. That would be to split with my two daughters, split in three, because of what was done to us. Because we were running out of house and home from the one-story house I bought in 2005. So I'm going to continue on with facts that went on and what my psychic tips say. So my reading says that they tried to, I listed the two-story house the week after the AA party, February 27th, 2005. My reading says they tried to stop the sale, told people not to write offers. They were trying to run us to a small, cheap apartment in Oak Park in Ventura County down the street that had their own school district. From an 1,800 square foot tract home we lived in 8 years. Okay? They do it to a lot of people. And anyway, the house, the two-story, sold the day the power was off in the city of Westlake Village. That's the day the buyer and the realtor knocked. There was no power, so the gang stalkers didn't know they were coming, because they couldn't hear them in phone bugging. Pretty coincidental, isn't it? The two-story house sold the day there was no power in our suburb city. What a coincidence. No, that's because they couldn't ruin it, because they didn't hear them in phone bugging, because they couldn't call. There was no power, no lights, no phone, no nothing, the day that two-story sold. Amazing. So that's God working in, I always say God working in my life. He brought the buyer and seller when the power was off. The buyer and the agent when the power was off to knock, who bought the house. Because my reading says they just sat lurking on spy cam hacking, bugging equipment, stopping people from writing offers, stopping buyers and sellers from previewing our two-story house. So my reading says they bug everybody and hack everyone. They know everything going on. And they just sit there ruining everything good that happens for a targeted person. And my reading says that they were so mad I bought a house because they were trying to run us to a small, cheap apartment in Oak Park. And so in April '05, I saw the perfect house online. I'd been searching for a house for 4 years, and that's a fact. I started looking for a house to buy, a one-story or bedroom bath down, in 2001, when my mother told me she wanted to live with us. So I searched for a house every day on the Canal Valley Multiple Listing Service for 4 years as a real estate agent looking for their own house. I wrote 5 offers before the house I bought in '05. In April '05, I saw the perfect house on the multiple listing service, one-story clay tile roof, hacienda porch, and oak trees. That's what I was looking for. A one-story clay tile roof, Spanish-style house with a spiritual ambiance. It was around 2,500 square feet, same city, same school district, same county, LA County side, and I said, that's perfect. So our 2 stories in the LA County side of Westlake Village, right near the Ventura County border. So was this house, LA County near the Ventura County border. Same elementary school we'd been at since 1997. Perfect location, location, location. And I saw it and said, that's the house. Hacienda porch, clay tile roof, one-story, oak trees. And, then it wasn't on the MLS. It came back on the market the middle of May '05. And we had been at a horse show in Glendale as my older daughter showed horses. She was an equestrian rider. And so we got home from this horse show in Glendale. And that morning, I searched the multiple listing service, and there was the house, back on market. BOM, that's how it showed up on that multiple listing service, as a bomb, realtors call it. Back on market means it's fell out of escrow. And so I thought, oh, that's a house I want to see. It's back on the market. Okay, that day, I drove my younger daughter to school. My older daughter and I were driving down the street. There were open house signs. And I said, oh, I think that's the house I want to see. That's back on the market. Turn the corner, turn again, lo and behold, there it was. The house I saw on the MLS April '05, on a street I showed a house on in 2000. I already knew the street as a realtor who showed a property there 5 years earlier. I knew all about the house by staring at it on the multiple listing service. In that neighborhood I drove through every morning after dropping my daughters at elementary school. So I'd been driving through that school every morning for 8 years, right past the street, after I dropped them off. So I knew all about the street, all about the neighborhood, also as a real estate agent, of course, because I showed homes in the neighborhood there. Knew everything about it, inside out, square footage, lot size, and location, location, location. And I'd been searching for a hacienda, one-story clay tile roof with a spiritual ambiance. One-story or bedroom bath down. There it was, lo and behold, the perfect house. My older daughter and I parked in front of the house on the street, and when I opened my door, I looked out, I saw a horse crossing sign on the corner. And I told my daughter, I said, oh my God, I dreamt this happened. I dreamt we parked in front of the house, and when I looked out, I saw a horse crossing sign on the corner. I dreamt it exactly before it occurred. is I have that gift since I was a child to dream of things before they happen. I also dream of things when they are happening. I have remote viewing. I'm clairvoyant. And so I told my daughter, oh my God, I dreamt this happened. As I dreamt it exactly. I dreamt we parked on a wide street, and I looked out and saw a horse crossing sign when I opened my car door. So we went into the open house. The second we stepped in the doorway, the church bells chimed from across the street. The hairs went up on my arms. I felt so elated. It felt so spiritual. And I said, I already know I'm writing an offer. I don't even have to look around. I already knew it was the right house. I was never more positive without a shadow of a doubt. This is the house. And I already had dreamt of the inside of the house before I saw it at the open house. So I had 3 dreams about the house before we went to the open house. And so I knew this is God's will. We're supposed to be in this house. And so I bought the house. My younger daughter saw it after school that day, and she loved it. Her bedroom was as big as my master bedroom. And I wanted my younger daughter to have a large bedroom because she had a smaller bedroom at the 2-story. She had a small bedroom and a small playroom next to it. So I wanted her to have a big bedroom. She was soon starting middle school, and that bedroom, her bedroom was as big as my master bedroom in the house, in that house. So that was a huge plus. Had a huge bathroom for my daughters with double sinks. It was so perfect for my daughters, for teenage years and college years and young adult years and forever. Perfect 1-story for my mother. And I bought the house, flying colors. It went so easy. So that day, after the open house, my older daughter and I went home. I faxed my mortgage brokers, Sharon and Brad Pfeiffer, Regency Brokerage, faxed them my offer, and they faxed me a countrywide loan approval letter for the house. And opened escrow, 30 days. My mom saw it during escrow, loved it. And closed escrow the middle of June, 05. Then I updated it before we moved in, July 1st. As I got a swing loan on my 2-story house from Sharon and Brad Pfeiffer when my 2-story was for sale. So they got me a swing loan, about $350,000 of my home equity from the 2-story. A swing loan is when you get your equity from your house you're selling. So that means the mortgage, the swing loan equity money is recorded against the property you're selling. That means the money you borrow from your house you made in home equity is paid off at the close of escrow. That's to buy a house before you sell your house that's listed. So I got a swing loan, bridge loan, borrowed my home equity from my 2-story that was listed for sale from Sharon and Brad Pfeiffer that went in Downey Savings that I bought the 1-story with. Then I had about, I'd say, $85,000 left in the bank. And I said, I am going to spend $40,000 of my home equity updating the house before we move in. Because I planned to buy a dated original house and update it. And it had linoleum floors and things like this. And so I said, I'm going to update it with hardwood, pavers, plaster before we move in. Do the flooring before we put the furniture in. Use my 2-story equity in Downey Savings. So I said I'm spending $40,000 on updates. Then we moved in around July 1st, 05. And I said, I'm going to spend $3,000 on furniture. So I did. And I went to Pier 1 and Went to Wrought Iron Furniture store, and I bought what I planned for the family room dining area for the one-story house. It was so perfect for my two daughters, my mother and I. My mother never got to live in the house because the gang stalkers ran us out in '09, the year she was supposed to move in. And she saw it during escrow and absolutely loved the house. And she said, "I want to go on the house with you." And I called the mortgage brokers right there and then when she was at the one story during the escrow. And I called them and said, "My mom wants to go on the house with me with her assets." And they said, "Great. If your mom goes on the house with her assets, that'll save you $330 a month on your payment." So I heard her calculator going even. I remember things. I have a photographic memory also of certain things. And I remember what people said, what they did. And I remember hearing her calculator on my cell phone, her adding up how much it would save on my mortgage payment. And she said, "Great, your mom goes on the house. That'll save you $330 a month on your monthly mortgage payment. She goes on with her assets." And she said, "Great, have your mom fax me when she gets home to her house in Sherman Oaks. Have her fax me all her assets." So my mom drove home from the house to Sherman Oaks, which was half an hour away, and faxed the mortgage broker her assets. Then the mortgage brokers, Sharon and Brad Pfeiffer, said, "Go to escrow with your mom and add her to your purchase contract." Because escrow is already open with my purchase contract, with me the buyer, my $40,000 3% deposit check, money I had in the bank from selling homes. So my mom and I went to escrow, and she was added to my purchase contract in escrow. Then they said, "Go to Downey Savings, open a joint savings account with your mom, where you already have your checking account, Nancy Fox, Downey Savings." So my mom drove out again half an hour, met me at Downey Savings. We opened a joint savings at Downey, Denise S. Fox, Nancy G. Fox. And that's where my swing loan equity went from my two-story house. Then I transferred my money to my checking. I wired my money to escrow and wrote on the wire transfer slip in the bank the two-story address and said, "This is a home equity swing loan from this property address, the two-story." And then I transferred money to update the house, spend $40,000. Transferred money to write $3,000 in checks to buy furniture, and it was all very planned. And that's what I did with my two-story house money. My reading says the gang stalkers behind the scenes were running around saying, "Oh my God, Nancy's funneling money in her account, kiking money. Oh, she's spending family trust fund account money. Oh, that's her mom's money she bought the house with. Oh, she's spending her mom's money on updates and furniture and funneling money and spending it so fast. And oh, she's spending too much money for a single mother. Oh, she's got such problems running around shopping for furniture so fast. And oh my God, we got to run them out of the house. It costs too much for a single mom. She's spending money like water, transferring it so quick at Downey Savings. Oh, her poor mother. That's family trust fund money she bought the house with. Oh my God, we got to run them out." Reedy says that's what they did all over Westlake Village. Lied. When that was my money in Downey Savings, I transferred to my checking, and I wrote checks for what I planned to buy with my money. I updated the house that I planned to do. I bought furniture I planned to buy. And I did what I planned with my money. And none of it was my mother's money in Downey Savings. And my reading says they lied. That was Fox Family Trust Fund account money of her mom's. Oh my God, she spent too much. Oh, she needed permission to spend family trust fund account money and BS like this, my readings say. When no, my mom, she didn't have a family trust where all the family members had to be informed of everything. She had her own living trust. She had her own money in her banks in the San Fernando Valley. There was no Fox Family Trust. And that was a joint account of Denise S. Fox, Nancy G. Fox. That was our joint individual savings account with my money in it, not her money. So I transferred my money to my checking at Downey and wrote checks for what I planned to do to the house. And my reading says they lied about all of this and framed me. Gang stalkers. Lied it was funneling money, kiking money, and spending too much for a single mom, and lied the house cost too much when no, it did not cost too much. Reading says they lied. The payment was $5,000 and it was going to escalate to $9,000. No, my payment was $2,750 and it was not going up for 7 years. And I qualified to buy it by myself with Countrywide Home Loans. As I got loan approval, there I wrote the offer on the house. So it did not cost too much. I was approved for the house. The payment was fine. Wasn't going up for 7 years. And I knew time the payment goes up, if I haven't refied it before then, my daughters will be 18 and over. So I'll be working more hours, making more money. And that's what NAGAM loans are for. They are designed for people who will make more income later. So it keeps your payment low for a while. Then when the loan goes up, your income has also gone up. That's what NAGAM loans are designed for. And that's what I got. And my payment was literally $26.50 a month and $100. And it was $330 less. Would have been more around $3,000. It was $330 less because my mom went on the house with her assets, not her money. And Reedy says they lied about that. And Reedy says they ran around going, poor Denise or poor mom. And no, it was for Denise. It was to have a 1-story for Denise Fox, my mom, to live with us in the house. So again, so people should have seen Nancy's such a nice daughter to her mother, Denise Fox. Look, she bought a house for her mom to live with them, a 1-story house, so Denise will live there instead of an elder care. Oh, Nancy worked so hard updating the 2-story to make good money to buy her house for her mom to live with them. She is such a nice daughter to Denise Fox. That's what they should have said and thought. And my reading says they say the opposite. They lied about the payment, and they lied about how I bought it, and lied I couldn't afford it, lied it cost too much. Reading says they ran around, lied, oh my God, it cost too much, gotta run him out of that house. Oh, that was dumb and stupid. She bought a house for too much without thinking. Gotta get a hold of her finances, set her up to be a case file, take all her money and her mail, and we gotta get control secretly with master manipulation. And Reedy says that's what they did. Then they planned to run us out of the house after I invested $300,000 of my money into the house, with the down payment, updates, and the furniture of $3,000. Here I spent $300,000 on the house to live there forever. I hope till the day I died. I planned for my mom to live there till the day she died instead of an elder care. I planned for my daughters to be there in college university years doing their homework. Okay, I plan to have them there the rest of their lives for Christmas at that house. Okay, I hoped I'd have it forever. And I always said, well, my backup plan, if I don't live here forever, I could sell it, make $1 million, buy a house all cash somewhere near my daughters when they're older. And because I knew it'd be worth $2 million. I said, I'm going to keep updating it and adding on. It'll be worth $2 million. So that was my other plan. I'll either live here forever, family home forever, Or someday I'll sell it, make $1 million, buy a house all cash. So anyway, I invested $300,000 into the house to stay there. And reading says they ran around lying. Oh, cost too much, bought it without thinking. Reading says the same person who lied about me when I filed for divorce December '04 told that lie all over town with many others. And my reading says they put a spy cam on the porch and started stealing my angel board jobs and money and bank deposit slips. As I after moving in around July 1st, '05, I ordered an angel board online from the Angel Board Alliance website. It was delivered by UPS in the one-story house driveway. So I started doing angel board readings every night, and I posted about it online on the Angel Board Alliance website. I said I'm having a wonderful experience channeling on my angel board. I'm channeling passed on relatives, God, Jesus, Virgin Mary, and angels, in a medium trance every night by a white candlelight. And I blogged on the Angel Board Alliance website about my angel board channeling I was doing every night. My reading says many angel board jobs were sent by my post I wrote online on the Angel Board Alliance website, and that they stole the jobs I generated and earned and worked for, as I worked hard all of my life to advance my intuition. I worked hard my spiritual programs in AA Al-Anon and to advance my connection to God. I worked on that in the 1980s to align my will with God's will, to see God working in my life. And I studied many books in the 80s to advance my psychic ability and intuition and spirituality. So this is years of work I did. My readings say generated a lot of jobs for me to channel on my angel board to save the human race. And my reading says they stole my earned job sent to my name and address right off the porch by a spy cam they placed on it, and out of the mailbox that was stalked and smashed on the ground twice. So who smashed the mailbox on a post on the ground twice? My reading says that was kids and teenagers that were at our house pretending to be nice. Girls my daughters went to school with and lessons with, the activities with, girls in the area in Canal Valley. And my readings say right under my nose and their noses, with their phony faces, pretending to be nice. Reading says they were girls my daughters knew, who were at our house, and probably some weren't at our house. My reading says that's who it was, girls and teenagers, children and teenagers. My reading says they stole my angel board jobs and money out of the mailbox on a post. And reading says they're the ones who smashed it on the ground twice, girls and teenagers, in '05 and '06. And that's a fact, as it was smashed on the ground off the post, '05 after we moved in the house, and '06 right after Easter break, smashed on the ground. My readings say that's who did it. So many were stealing jobs. And my reading says another one, well, I'm gonna go a little more forward. So that happened, and then the car break-in happened, and property was stolen. $500 property, May 9th or 10th, 2006. And as they do subtle crimes to take down single parents to and unwed parents, to run them out of house and home. And that's what gang stalkers do to targeted individuals. So the car break-in, who did that, I've asked. My reading says that was two real estate men who broke in the car and robbed $500 of property. My real estate listing portfolio I made money with. My plan to rob my real estate business out from under me. Our cats went missing Labor Day '08. Stalkers had been there. Who did that? Reedy says it was the 9 Antichrist men who run the CPS secret court with a relative. A black Cadillac stalked me with tinted windows, drove right next to me when I drove my older daughter to high school in '09 spring. And who was that? Reedy says that's a serial killer man who runs the CPS secret court. Because it felt very eerie. It drove right next to me when I was driving my older daughter to high school. I had a very bad feeling about who was in this black Cadillac with tinted windows. My reading says he's a serial killer who runs the CPS secret court, who does pretend investigations and frames mothers. And my reading says he didn't want me to have my Save the Human Race job because he kills the human race. And so my reading says that's who that was. Then a yellow Corvette zipped by the driveway in early '09 when I was driving out of our driveway with my daughters and my SUV. And a yellow old Corvette zoomed right past next to the curb. My reading says that was a CPS secret court caseworker woman, his relative, and that those were the devils stalking us. That's what my reading says. And so, because I do, as I said, facts. I do facts. I do readings on facts. So I'm giving everybody this to unravel the mystery, to crack the case of what gang stalkers do to targeted individuals. My reading says the same woman who lied about me in a report to authorities when I filed for divorce December '04, that the same one stole my UPS FedEx Angel Board jobs off of our one-story porch and lied she got a big important Son of God job when no, she stole the jobs. When she's the son of Satan, working with a serial killer in the black Cadillac with tinted windows, and the CPS secret caseworker woman, his relative, who runs a CPS secret court. And that was the devil stalking us. And him and his 9 men stole our cats, readings say, Labor Day '08. They steal a lot of cats and kill cats. And that was the devil stalking us with tinted windows and a black Cadillac, my readings say. My readings have said he's 6'8". And he is probably 88 years old. And 6'8". My readings say. Okay, now that's all that. Now then, my readings say, during all this time, when they were lying, slandering me all over town, and my reading says they were taking my money out of the bank. My reading says him and this woman in the yellow Corvette, the CPS secret caseworker relative. Reading says they both filed fraud liens at the bank. And my reading says he filed a lien that lied. He had to investigate how I bought my house. Said, so put her money that's sent in another account. And she filed a lien that lied. We have to do a CPS secret court investigation on the too young, too thin, newly divorced mom who spent too much on her closeout a party in February '05 and so on, by the party guest reports. So they got my money sent. It said you need your own money for your Son of God job. So they had my own money sent to protect my family and I. And it said you need your own job because you're doing your Son of God job, meaning channeling the Son of God on my angel board. Because I started channeling on it around July '05. The first thing it spelled was "This is God." So I was channeling God and the Son of God, Jesus, on my angel board every night. And my reading says they didn't want me reporting by Jesus Christ and God, did they? No, of course they did not. They're the son of Satan running depopulation in the CPS secret court. They're the gang stalkers harming targeted individuals, framing nice moms and who filed for divorce and are unwed, running them out of house and home, and then robbing the mother and daughters blind. From then on, after the setup date, they keep stealing 99.9% of what they earn, my readings say. And that's what I've certainly experienced, not receiving money I should be receiving. So reading says they're robbing my money to frame me to look like the house costs too much for a single mom.